You talked in another interview about travel, right? And you were just mentioning going to New York. You talked about not being able to stay in one place for 2 weeks at a time. Can you talk more about that? That you're nomadic, you have existence, and how that works?
I really truly believe, this is my personal opinion. I don't know how many people have philosophized or like try to theorize what this actually means, but I feel like innovation is not really the process of coming up with something completely brand new out of nowhere. It usually comes from something, and it comes from the things that you've seen. Because if I ask you to imagine the most badass car ever in your entire life, you will still imagine something with wheels on it, right? So we've kind of figured out a way to use constructs that we see in our experiences and what we've read about and seen visually to help ourselves innovate. By traveling, what I feel you're able to do is unlock many different cultural and visual and stimulating experiences that help you come up with ideas that nobody else will ever come up with before. So if you find yourself kind of rotting away in one place, you really are, because you're using the same ideas and the same constructs over and over again. But to stand in Angkor Wat in Cambodia and freaking live and breathe, you know, what Angelina Jolie did in the movie, is a big deal, right? It's also figuring out how to learn how to take all these constructs and actually just try to imagine something that nobody else can combine and imagine but you.
That's great. You talked about 2 years ago when you kind of came up with this. I don't know if many of you remember, Jay Adelson, the CEO of Dig, was here on this stage 2 years ago in April, right around the same time you were working on your new invention. It's nice to see one of his employees come over here and do this now. So I don't know if he would call it that, but that's great.
Jay, very much so to this day, is a very close friend and supporter of the company, and I was actually over at his house a couple weeks ago, and we were just talking about what's happened in the last like 500 days. If you think about it, so much has changed. But Jay's always been sort of this force in every entrepreneur's life. A lot of people can attest to that, and we need more people like him.
Absolutely, and I would imagine his lifestyle that we were talking about, fueled by Red Bull, 4 hours of sleep, I mean, that is pretty much the lifestyle of an entrepreneur, and Jay would probably still work at that pace, I would imagine.
It's like an addiction.
That's right, that's right. So before we open up to questions, I guess any thoughts about some of the direction of this, your perspective in terms of mobility? You're right on the front edge of that with the in-the-moment opportunities, but where is this really going with mobility and cloud-based computing? What's kind of the next thing that you see happening, or what's really on the horizon?
Yeah, so there's a few trends that I see that I get very excited about. One is the mobile wallet, right? I really think that the digitization of our sort of access to our funds and our personal worth is a very fascinating thing. And then access to that. Here's why it's amazing, because every company that's managed to build massive revenue streams very quickly has been able to do it without you feeling like you've spent any money, right? PayPal, Zynga, Apple, like you just don't even feel like you're spending, credit cards even, as a concept. And so the mobile wallet is bringing that to another level. So I'm very excited about the mobile wallet. But in terms of the trends that we're observing, that we're trying to push forward, is that I feel like there's a very big opportunity for brands and for companies to have an opportunity to give back. Right? Because very, very seldom is there sort of this reciprocity between you and the actions that you're making online. So the way that Keep is eventually going to grow is, imagine things like, you know, running 10 miles with your Nike Plus and getting a free Gatorade, right? Where it's very contextual, relevant to what you've done, and is also value being provided back to you. So what I view it as an entire level is that this is almost a rewards, like sprinkling rewards around the world. And then internally we call it rewarding the world, because you very much so deserve it, and you've been robbed your entire life because no one's been rewarding you for that. And so I feel like when we're able to introduce that to the world, there's something fascinating in creating that value that never existed before. And it's really this layer that we extracted out of something that people had traditionally only thought, oh, hey, let's just do impressions, right? Let's just do like the thing that shows up every time that I load a game. But you have to remember that out of the 1,000 or billion impressions that they had bought or had created an ad product for, there's really only about 100 that matter, that have emotional context behind it, that is significant. And so we decided to pick out all of those and create value out of it.